How's life?
How you doing, man?
So,
Good.
what are you doing?
I'm doing tarot card readings. I'm changing people's lives in 10 minutes,
Really?
helping them resolve their problems and find direction and guidance in their lives.
You think that these things could change people's life?
This, no, but me, this, and the other person together changing their lives. Yeah.
But is it not you yourself? You only could change the life. I perception only me could change the life.
Sure, but there's no such real thing as you separate. You needed a mother and a father, and they needed mothers and fathers. Everything is interrelated, interconnected. There's no you without. So, for example, the calcium in your bones, you need to have stones before there was a human being to have calcium. No.
Could I capture your video? You allowed me? Okay.
I mean, there's no point. My face is not so useful to it. Maybe the point I'm trying to make is that everything is working interrelatedly. So these are just a tool to help people find new perspectives and new inspirations, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And do you think, because I was spoken, did you learn yourself?
Yeah,
or
myself, yeah. I've doing it about 4 years. I started reading cards on the street 3 days after I bought my first deck. So I bought it, and then 3 days later I went on the street, and that's about 4 or 5 years ago.
And how is the prediction is successful rate? Do people come back to you and say, yeah, your predictors are correct?
I can tell. I don't predict anything. I'm not a fortune teller, so I use these cards as a means of to help bring in new perspective. So I don't tell fortune. So I would say, from my experience, a high success rate in helping people resolve some things or gain new. Gain a little bit of energy. I don't know, it's hard to describe. Yeah. Successful by my criteria, yeah.
Okay, and I had a friend, she do tarot cards in Russia. My name is Paul, that's Sonia.
You're Russian?
I'm Russian, yeah.
And you're?
I'm from Dublin.
From Dublin, oh.
Yeah.
And
Очень приятно.
приятно тоже. And for example, I'm not sure how you do it, but she do it, you need to ask question. And then it shows you yes or no. Is it how you actually do tarot cards?
I don't do it like that at all. I do it differently for each person based on my intuition in the moment about what would be the most useful. So as you do many readings for different people, you accumulate a greater understanding of human behavior, and from that accumulated experience you can, I think, at least in my case, I feel like I can give something useful to the person. But it's mostly based on my experience analyzing the cards, my experience with other people, and what I feel is necessary in the moment based on my own life experience. So that's what I mean about these are not separate entities. Everything is working together. So you put the intention down. Say, for example, normally what I would do is the most powerful, the most useful, and the most typical thing I would do is ask the person how their life would be if any problem or problems they're dealing with would just disappear. I ask them to just imagine how they would wake up in the morning, where they'd be, how they'd feel, what they'd see, what they'd hear. And then from that, we start to do the reading. And we're just using these pictures, these symbols, and these images as a prompt. As in, like, hey, think about this. Maybe it's useful, maybe it's not. But certainly there's no supernatural aspect to what I do, and nor I don't. So my success, I think, by my own criteria, is based on the fact that it's very simple and authentic.
And how long you doing like this tarot cards? How many years? Yeah.
4 years ago.
4 years. And did you enjoy doing that?
Yeah, I love it. I only do it on the street. I mean, I do mostly on the street. So on the street, anything can happen. Someone could come along now and do anything. So you have to integrate the dynamics of the real world into the symbols. So it's a very potent environment, I think, for transformation. I'm very happy with my craft, and I would imagine that I would be probably one of the best in the world. I don't say that with it's not bombast, it's just reality. Sincerity, experience, curiosity, and willingness to be in any difficult environment creates a situation where, not always, some people walk away and go, that's bullshit, it's not useful. it's either if they're not happy, they don't have to pay. You know, it's not they're not risking anything. But for the most part, I think that the raw aspect of it is what gives it its potency.
And sorry for asking a question. Are you religious? Are you believe in God yourself? Do you have connection with the God, like, or you don't believe in God, or what you believe actually? Sorry.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm in the I don't know category. I certainly don't prescribe, or rather, I don't take instruction from the books. So, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, though I respect a lot of aspects of all of those religions, something that's written in a book. Before there was Muslims, before there was Christians, before there was Jews, like our ancestors go way back before that. We have a huge amount of accumulated experience, knowledge, and yeah. So I would say, am I religious? No, but I don't know. I'm not a teller of truths. I'm just a proposer of ideas.
Did your life change a lot when you started doing this for the last 4 years?
It's like a magic box. So from this, anything can happen because you're dealing with a number of different things. You're dealing with symbols, you're dealing with numbers, and you're dealing with chance. So if a person comes along and they have something on their mind that they want to get resolved, the dynamic that's involved in this card game, it's a kind of a game, they sit down and as they move the cards, in their mind the possibility of change is there. It's like a gambling almost. You're gambling not to win money, but gambling that taking a chance that the idea that comes along may resolve your issue or give you guidance. And when the person's in that state of mind, it's more likely that change can occur than if they're stuck and tight in their world. So the card itself may represent something in that moment that's useful to them. Now it may represent something that's useful to all of the people in the city, but it doesn't matter. Like if I say to you, it's important, you gotta love yourself, and you go, oh, you can say that to anyone, but it doesn't make a difference. If it's important in this moment, it's important. It doesn't matter if it's important to everybody or not. In that moment when you hear it. So that's just one example. So yeah, you're dealing with generalities. Like everybody is, most people, unless you've got an injury or deformity, have got 5 fingers and have 2 legs. So you're dealing with the same type of issues over and over again. So it's a very simple process.
And do you read actually in the hands the lines as well? No. You're not able to do that yet, yes?
I don't know if it's. I have no interest in it. I have no interest in those things. I only have interest in. Yeah, I mean, if somebody came along and could show me that that was a useful thing, no.
But do you do tarot cards for yourself, like every day? I know,
No.
like my friend, she do it every day to herself.
Yeah, no.
You don't do that.
Never do it for yourself. I mean, I learned the cards for myself. You smoke a bit of weed or whatever, and then you like study the cards and see what happens in your mind and what comes about from them, and then anything you understand from that you can share with the person in the reading. But no. But they have no significance really. Like so, for example, like I won't do it now, but I've done it many times. Sometimes I can just, if the person puts too much importance on the cards, you can rip the card up and throw it away, you know? They put all this, they're like, oh, the cards are so important, and then you rip it up and throw it away. It's a very powerful way of showing that the cards have they're just pieces of paper. So again, the whole point is to put the power in the person's, to reaffirm the person's power. These are just nothing, I'm nothing, the person is what's important. And I think that's the way to read the cards. And I think as you're filming it now, and I'm in the mood to speak about it, I think that these cards, there's a lot of ideas about where they come from or why they're here. And I believe one of the reasons that they're here is to help people like me make money. You know? People like me who are outside of the confines of the society and maybe not able to or not wanting to live within it, these cards give an opportunity for people like me to survive. So they have a multiple aspects of it.
That's quite interesting. And do you, since you're doing the cards, is any like spirits come to you and start talking to you? Like I know, nothing like this. Okay. And do you think is the cards is good or a bad? Is it a good magic or it's not magic? It's just a way of.
Depends on how, like you could. It depends on what you, the meaning. They're things that help you make meaning. So, like I said, if somebody thinks they're very, very important, I can rip them up and throw them away. My job is not to. My job is to reaffirm the power in the person and not in the tool. These are just pieces of paper with pictures, so they're neither good nor evil. Like you just make the meaning of it yourself. So a lot of Christians will stop and say that they're evil. Some people, I don't know. It's not important to me. But
Did they ever predict someone dead, that some person will gonna die soon? Did you have this card kind of, or will be tragedy happening? You don't have that here.
I mean, I don't know.
Or marriage, for example, predict somebody you're gonna be married, met a person.
Not a fortune teller. No, I would never even dare to do such a thing.
Okay, it's just different, is it?
Yeah, this is more like psychology. This is more like a counseling session than a fortune-telling session. Nobody can tell the future.
Nobody could tell the future.
No, because the future is not something that exists. It's something that's clashing with different dynamics that cannot. There's times when a person can have a dream or in a particular incident foresee the future, but it's not something that you can, like a pint in a pub, just on tap pour it when you want it. It's just going to come and maybe you can use it or not. For me, I have no, with reading the cards, any experience with that. My job is right now, what's happening right now, not what's going to happen or what did happen for the most part.
You call it as a job, it's not a hobby. Is it?
Job.
Oh.
Jobs change people's lives, but you can change someone's life in 2 minutes. You can do more, a person could do more in 2 minutes than 10 years of counseling. The right thing you say at the right time to the right person change their life. It's very easy. It's not difficult.
Quite interesting. Sorry. Sorry, what is your name again?
Brannick.
Okay, Brannick. Okay. You're doing well. How many cars are there inside?
My deck has 77 because one of them is ripped up for exactly that reason. A guy in the street came and he got so involved in the card, I had to rip it up and throw it away and say, listen brother, these have no fucking power, man. You have the power. People need to take the power back. So usually they have 78, mine have 77. My other deck had about, I don't know, one guy takes them to the grave of his Spurs. One guy takes him to the spot where his brother committed suicide. Someone else takes them. No, I give them away. It doesn't matter. I throw some of them in the river. It doesn't matter. It's not about the cards. It's about the spirit of wanting there to be healing. And I could use this. If this was something that the culture appreciated, I could spin the bottle, do this. I can do it with anything. The cards, I can do it all with it.
You probably meet quite interesting people here sitting. Like when you're sitting here, different people you're meeting. And you're observing all the time, obviously. I don't know I'm not sure if you're from Galway. What do you think about now homelessness rate in the Galway city? Is it increased for the past year?
I don't know. I'm from Dublin, so I can only say that in Dublin it's increased. But I would also say there's no such thing as homelessness. It's like there's houselessness, there's shelterlessness, but there's no such thing as homelessness. Every person's body is their home. Where your cliche, but where your heart is your home is. So.
But you say you're from Dublin, so in Dublin your perception is increasing for the past few.
People on the streets are increasing, yeah, it was really bad, yeah.
And did you have a chance to talk to them?
Well, I've lived on the streets, so not only have I talked to them, I spent a lot of time with people on the street.
So there's a home crisis, you would say, or there's not enough.
Crisis of the spirit across the whole culture. It's not. There's definitely in the immediacy for some people. There's definitely a crisis of not having shelter, not having safety, and in some cases not having food and not having things they need. But for the most part, across the whole spectrum of society, there's a crisis of the spirit. There's a crisis of direction. There's a crisis of grounding. There's no fires. There's no wolves in this country for I don't know over. Are we now like 200 years plus? 400 years ago, 25% of this country was forest. That's what in my opinion, needs to return. Spiritual identity needs to return to the people on this island. Whether they just arrived here or their ancestors have been here for thousands of years, doesn't matter. The island itself is, if you listen, instructing a certain way of life. And we have certain dynamics that don't allow that.